And so basically, the presumption that we are in a democracy is just sort of by definition fake. Now, good news for the U.S., it turns out the founders understood this. And so, of course, they didn't give us a direct democracy. They gave us a representative democracy, right? And so they built the oligarchy into the system in the form of Congress and the executive branch and the judicial branch.
Hello. I hate what he said, but it's true. I hate the fact that he thinks it's good, but it's true.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up. One agency, the Small Business Administration, listed a paralegal phone number for laid off employees to appeal their terminations. The number was an automated line for an apartment building. Oh my God. Thank you for calling Westbrook Place, a team that is dedicated to taking care of the way you live while offering you an extraordinary living experience. So, Steve, they're laying off nuclear agency officials and then scrambling to rehire them, but they don't have their contacts. The Small Business Administration, which I would agree is not the most important agency, they're laying off those people. Hey, if you think you're wrongly terminated, here's the number to contest it. You're calling it up. You're giving them the number for an apartment building.
And it's going to start hitting the private sector once the money starts drying up, because that's all new money being spent into the economy. That recession, I hope all of your families are prepared for that. I really do. And I hope those people celebrating it, I don't even want you to get hurt by it, although I'd love for you to be hurt because you're an asshole. I don't want you to be hurt by this. But the fact of the matter is it's got a cascading effect. It doesn't matter whether you think this is a dumb idea or not. If you cut spending here and you don't put new spending somewhere else to make up for it, the macro economy shrinks up and then you get fucked. And this is how we start watching mass layoffs occur. So the story here is bigger than just, I don't like that part of the government, get rid of them. The problem is that when you forget what it's being spent on, the aggregate amount of money going into the economy, when you shrink that back, you set the stage for recessions and depressions. And this is how mass layoffs begin outside the government sector.
And I want to move on here, because while all this is going on, I mean, Trump has pretty much handed the government to the tech bros. To Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. There's also a guy named Mark Andreessen. He's a Silicon Valley billionaire. He's BFF with Elon Musk. He's a big Trump donor. And he just did an interview, and I think he basically is saying the quiet part out loud, that MAGA, unfortunately, it might have been advertised to you as a populist movement, but this is essentially the oligarchy officially taking over. Before Trump, it was kind of in the shadows, like we knew our government was corrupt, but it wasn't as brazen. Now the tech bros, they're not even hiding it. They're proudly introducing the oligarchy. This was him on a podcast. Let's play that.
Oligarchy basically says democracy is fake. There's always a ruling class. There's always a ruling elite structurally. And he said the reason for that is because the masses can't organize. Right. What's the fundamental problem? Whether the mass is 25,000 people in a union or 250 million people in a country, the masses can't organize. The majority cannot organize. Only a minority can organize. And to be effective in politics, you must organize. And therefore, every political structure in human history has been some form of a small organized elite ruling a large and dispersed majority. Every single one. The Greeks and the Florentines had brief experiments in direct democracy, and they were total disasters. In Florence, I forget the name of it. It was called like the Workers' Revolt or something like that. There was like a 2-year period where they basically experimented with direct democracy during the Renaissance, and it was a complete disaster. And they never tried it again. In the state of California, we have our own experiment on this, which is the proposition system, which is an overlay on top of the legislature. And it, anybody who looks at it for 2 seconds concludes it's been a complete disaster. It's just a catastrophe, and it's caused enormous damage to the state. And so basically, the presumption that we are in a democracy is just sort of by definition fake. Now, good news for the U.S., it turns out the founders understood this. And so, of course, they didn't give us a direct democracy. They gave us a representative democracy, right? And so they built the oligarchy into the system in the form of Congress and the executive branch and the judicial branch. So as a consequence, democracy is always and everywhere fake. There is always a ruling elite. And basically the lesson of the Machiavellians is you can deny that if you want, but you're fooling yourself. The way to actually think about how to make a system work and maintain any sort of shred of freedom.
Hello. I hate what he said, but it's true. I hate the fact that he thinks it's good, but it's true. I don't know that it's true.
By the way, you might say, Jordan, I mean, that's terrible, but who's this guy? I mean, are you seeing a pattern here? He's a BFF with Trump, Elon Musk. He's a big donor to Trump. He was just on Joe Rogan, who's doing this, basically open blowjob tour for all of tech bros. I mean, he's having every billionaire tech bro on to basically give a tongue bath to for 3 hours. It's really embarrassing at this point. If you like Joe Rogan, I would love to get on his show on important topics, but I'm not going to pull punches. I mean, he's literally doing infomercials for rich billionaires, Joe Rogan. So the whole hey, I'm the everyman, I don't know anything thing, it's kind of wearing off. This guy is essentially part of the Bezos, Musk, Peter Thiel, Mark Zuckerberg, this whole tech feudalist gang that Trump is handing the government to. And he's saying it out loud. And it's not a coincidence then that you're seeing articles like this in the New York Post. Headline, greed is good. How capitalism makes the world better for us all. Because Trump is essentially giving the oligarchs license. Take your victory lap. We're not even hiding it anymore. But the thing is, MAGA, and I'm not trying to beat up on you. I'm literally asking you, you didn't vote for a tech feudalist system. You didn't vote for oligarchy, but that's what they're giving you. They're literally openly. And again, there's a reason these people are donating to Trump. They're not doing it for charity. It's because Trump is giving them immense results already. Bezos donated to Trump. Bezos killed the Washington Post's endorsement of Kamala Harris. What does Trump do? He neuters the National Labor Relations Board, which Jeff Bezos and Amazon have sued to try and get the National Labor Relations Board declared unconstitutional. Why? Because it's the board that governs labor unions, and Amazon doesn't want its workforce to unionize. Elon Musk has also sued before to try and get the National Labor Relations Board declared unconstitutional. Oh, Elon Musk is given the keys to all these agencies, and what do you know? People are fired that are investigating his companies. This is not rocket science what's going on here. It's brazen corruption. And Steve, I want to read another thing that's I know near and dear to you. They're also cutting programs for education and people with disabilities.
Autism, you name it. Yep.
This is from Blue Sky. The richest man in the world has decided that your kids don't deserve special education programs. This is a letter that went out, I guess, to parents. Dear parent or guardian, we are writing to inform you that the federal government has canceled funding for the Charting My Path for Future Success project funded under the U.S. Department of Education's Evaluation of Transition Support for Youth with Disabilities. What happened? On February 10th, the U.S. Department of Education canceled research contracts with Spotsylvania County Public Schools, as well as school districts across the Commonwealth and nation. We received notification at 10:19 p.m. on February 10th to immediately cancel anything supported by the Charting My Path for Future Success project funding. The Charting My Path for Future Success project provided instruction and support for our high school students with disabilities to help prepare for the transition from high school. The cancellation of this program impacted 91 SCPS students and 5 full-time instructors who were funded by the Charting My Path for Future Success program. Your child will no longer receive the transition supports that were part of the federally funded Charting My Path. Your child will continue to receive the district support that was provided. Steve, reports have come out. Do you want to know why this apparently was canceled?
Tell me.
Because Elon Musk and his Doge doggies thought that this was a DEI program because of that phrase. Your child will no longer receive the transition support.
These people are a cancer. They're a fucking cancer.
Let me repeat. That program for special needs, If you don't know, I was in special ed when I was a kid. Steve is open. He's got an autistic son. They cut this program not because there's waste, fraud, and abuse. They wrongly thought it was a DEI program because it had the term transitioning. That's what I'm talking about. This is not waste, fraud, and abuse. This is a manic kleptocrat that the president is given the keys to the government to go in and recklessly and haphazardly just take a machete across agencies, and whoever gets hurt, so be it. Whatever programs that really shouldn't be cut, oops. Go ahead.
No, I mean, words escape me. I just, as a dad, would love to beat the taste out of folks. Violence is never necessary, right? I beg to differ. I think we're at a point now where we can't vote our way out of this, and there's too many morons, and I'm disgusted.
And Colin, if we can, there was a MAGA actor, I don't know who he is, but apparently he's an actor that is open about being pro-Trump, etc. That he went on Fox, I think it was, to kind of, without criticizing Trump and President Musk, kind of ask, hey guys, could you do this carefully, please? You know, we don't want innocent people to be hurt now. Let's play that.
When you see people singing 1960s style, when you see Kamala Harris on Broadway, inspiring people, as you know she's capable of, what does that tell you about the trajectory that everybody's on?
I don't know. They're trying to find answers, man. You know, listen, for people sitting where we're sitting, I was very supportive of Bobby Kennedy. That led me to Donald Trump. And I am so grateful. I am so grateful that the election went the way that it did. And specifically because people like Bobby and Tulsi Gabbard are now in there and confirmed and can do the work. And listen, Doge is complicated, right? Like, there are a lot of people that are very afraid right now because there are truly good working people that work for the government that are getting lost in the cracks. And we have got to do something about that. Please, Elon and all of your team and whatever needs to happen, please don't let everybody fall through the cracks as we are doing what is necessary, which is to get in there and like cut a cancer out, man. You know, sometimes they go in for cancer surgeries, doctors, and you lose some good, healthy tissue along in that. They don't want to do that, but it's a part of like extracting that darkness out of there. And right now, that's what's happening. But there are good people that voted for Donald Trump who are losing their job. And we got to make sure that we don't leave those folks behind.
Well said. Tell me about The Unbreakable Boy. Why are you so behind this film?
It's just a beautiful film, man.
God damn.
A couple things. That brilliant actor. Number one, this is not falling through the cracks. People are being thrown off a cliff. Liberals who work for the government, conservatives who work for the government, people who aren't, independents who work for the government. When you recklessly, haphazardly just take a machete to the government in basically a manic ketamine-induced weekend, you're throwing people off a cliff. By nature, that's not people going to fall through the cracks. Secondly, when you use the analogy that actor said, when a doctor, goes in for surgery, sometimes they, hurt the good tissues. Well, at least it's a doctor doing the surgery. This is Elon Musk is your surgeon. Elon Musk, he doesn't even know. He's got fucking teenagers that have been handed access to Social Security and private information. These people don't even know what most of these agencies do. They're treating this like it's going in and cutting the fat from fucking Twitter.com.
Yeah, just remember, we got to the moon somehow or another without Elon Musk, but now we've privatized NASA, basically. We privatized technology and innovation, but we're still funding it, by the way. We're just privatizing so guys like Musk can get rich off of it. And they're just fucking soaking this shit up. And these fucking leprechauns are fucking humping his leg like a freaking dog that hasn't gotten laid in a while. I mean, it's ridiculous how bad it is.